Welcome to Keep It Humane, the podcast, where we dive deep into topics surrounding kindness, compassion, and creating a more humane world, whether it's in our communities, in the workplace, or in the world of animal control and shelters. With our hosts,
Ashlee Bishop.
And Ashlee Bishop.
And I'm Daniel Ettinger. This show is sponsored by Tomahawk Live Trap. Check them out, livetrap.com. Welcome to the nope, just kidding. 2025, new year, new name. We are Keep It Humane, the podcast. What? Why the change? Why? Everybody loves
Yes,
change.
Dan, why?
Tell me you're mad without telling me you're mad, Ashlee. So this is year 6 going into this pod, which is insane. It's 6 years, 3 names, 17 logos, and 43 different hosts. But I'll tell you what.
Too many.
We're here, and I want to start with taking it back to the Humane Roundup, which was the original name of the show several years ago. And that was started by a good friend, Michael Hildebrandt, aka Mr. Hildy, who is living life luxuriously outside of this industry. He's no longer an animal control officer or in the animal welfare industry, but he's doing his thing. He had the vision to start this. You had Ocho that was on the show. You had Joe, the ACO, Mr. Sticker Man, throwing stickers everywhere in the United States, which is really cool to see. And then you had Officer Paw Patrol. He had a YouTube page and was pretty. I think he even got like a YouTube page award for like 100,000 views or something cool like that. I think he's still doing his thing in Illinois, maybe Michigan, yeah, Michigan. So it's crazy to see the progression of this show over the 6 years and the why behind the change. For me, I'll be honest, when we changed from the Humane Roundup to the Animal Control Report, part of the motivation behind that was to try to, and you may not know this, Wisconsin Bishop, you might though, was to try to get on the coattails of that show Animal Control on Fox.
Why does that not surprise me?
Because I thought that show would like give animal control a different name in the community and people would be more interested in animal control. I was wrong. I'm not shy to admit that I was wrong. That show is back for year 3, so good for them for doing their thing. And some of our listeners love it. One in particular texts me all the time to rub it in my face that show is still around and hasn't been canceled. But I'm not going to put them out in the universe like that. Or maybe I just did. Anyway, so Keep It Humane, the podcast. The why really is we talk a lot about everything. We don't just talk about animal control related stuff. We've had guests on from, I mean, you name it, like Shelter Animals Count. We've had groups like Cal Animals on the show. We've had NACA on the show. We've had Best Friends, PETA. We're not just specifically animal control, though we may represent that in some ways, and that'll always be for me priority one in some aspects is this industry as animal control officers and trying to change that image. And I think by changing the name, we can broaden that scope by really getting other people to listen, maybe going back through some of our shows and seeing some of the great discussions that we've had with animal control officers or stories that we've shared. And that's not going to change in the future. We are, as you can tell today, just the 3 of us. There will be some weeks where it's just the 2 of us. And we still will have some guests, but we're going to change the format a little bit in 2025 to do some more it'll be more specific animal control stuff. So in between some of those guests that might be more wide range animal welfare folks, we're going to dial it back in and do some animal control related topics. So that's the why. I also want to announce
something.
Tell me you're mad without telling me you're mad. I also want to thank our show sponsor for 2025. It's really cool to see them back, and it's just exciting to be with them as that supporter of animal control. And so we want to shout out Tomahawk Live Trap for being the actual sponsor of the show. So you'll want to stick around for some cool stuff from them. They're doing great things, and it's actually their 100-year mark in business. They started
Hmm.
in 1925 when I was just a wee lad. Um, they
Yeah.
started like they. I wonder if they were building stuff for we should ask Kyle. We should have him
You
on soon
should.
and ask
The
him like,
history of
yeah,
Tomahawk.
that
That would
would
be
be
fun.
that would be super cool to get them on and have
And they're
Kyle kind of.
based in my Northwoods.
I don't know how you could even survive 100 years in that cold climate, man.
It was -16 with the wind chill this morning.
I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna
Nope.
pass.
No
I am
thanks.
going to pass. Well, really quick, Tomahawk Live Trap, they're celebrating their 100 years in business in 2025. So this is 100 years. This is amazing. They're a family-owned and operated business who works with humane professionals around the world to produce the safest and most effective animal handling equipment available. You can save 10% on their products by using discount code Keep It Humane. That's Keep It Humane, all uppercase, no spacing. You can visit them online at livetrap.com, again, livetrap.com, or call them at 800-272-8727. So, really cool to have them on board. Excited for that. Don't forget to check out our socials. So, another quick announcement, anything animal control related will start to blend into Keep It Humane. So, if you're not following Keep It Humane on Instagram or Facebook, you'll want to do that as we're going to try to transition. It'll just make it easier for us not having 7 different social media accounts to handle, kind of make it one brand. So check us out wherever you get your socials and YouTube as well.
I want to step back for a quick moment
Please.
to tech or excuse me, Tomahawk Live Trap. One thing that I found out from Kyle when I was down in Texas is if anybody needs things customized, if they have any ideas for how things can be improved, or even if it's something you just need specifically for your area, talk to Tomahawk Live Trap because they'll look into it and see if they can do it and make it work. Um, they're a great group up there. There's a family-owned business, so they definitely want to work for you.
Yeah, you don't get that corporate feel from them. Like,
No,
and
never.
and that's what the one cool thing. Like when I've reached out to Kyle, like it feels like I'm just talking to a friend and not necessarily like if I was just talking to a sales agent with a big company, that's all they're trying to do. Like Kyle, and I saw him in Texas too, and we had some good chats outside and just enjoying some of that nice Texas weather, Bishop.
Nice.
That
Nice.
humidity, all that
Ugh.
good stuff. But it's cool to see. Also, stick around because we have to announce our winners of 2024, which will be the Animal Control Officer Award and the Animal Shelter or Animal Agency, Animal Care, Animal Shelter Agency of the Year Award. So stick around for that as we get going here on the show. So,
Dan, a while
Ashlee,
ago, we, I'm going back maybe a year ago or so,
okay.
we had talked about burnout and things.
Hmm.
And we had a website that we had found the average length of
Mm.
an officer's
Yes, we did.
tenure. I can't find that website again. However, I was trying to look at it in comparison to the fact that we've been up and running for 6 years. I think this is beyond the average because wasn't it? You've either been in like
Two
2 to,
years, right?
yeah, or 11 or more. There was that weird like gap in it.
I do. And Texas Bishop, you were on that episode too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. I think I just found it again. Hold on.
I think it's cool to say, and what you're where you're getting at is we took for the first time ever in this show. So if you think about the last 5 years, we literally recorded almost every single weekend in that time frame, and from was it mid-November all the way through December, we just took it off. We were like, this
Correct.
is going to be our next season. We're going to start fresh with the name change, with just new format. Every time I say name change, your body. If you're not watching on YouTube, go to YouTube because Ashlee Bishop, Missouri style, just
Missouri style.
Wisconsin style, wherever you live. I feel like I'm manifesting you moving to Missouri at some point.
I do have some good friends in
I'm
Missouri,
telling you,
but
it's gonna happen. going to happen. So yeah, it's an interesting topic that you bring up is the length that we've been doing this show in relation to just people in our industry.
Yep, 5 to 7 years, 20%, or less than 20%. What is this? 15%
Wow.
Yeah.
tenure.
So yay, go us, but also
Yeah.
yay, go us for seeing the need to take the break,
Hmm.
which is here's everybody's wake up call to take your break, take your vacations, take your time.
Nah.
And lady, I'm
Take
looking
your
at you.
time.
Nah. Nah.
Before we get into your favorite things from 2024, maybe personally or professionally or on the show, can I just tell you my morning really quick? And I know we had one YouTube watcher that doesn't like me doing this, but that's okay. It's okay. They're probably not watching, so it doesn't matter, right?
And anybody else can fast forward.
Yeah, you just hit the fast forward button. But it's actually a fun story. So my kids, they were visiting for a week, and today was flight home day, which is always it's always like sad to see them go, but we had a really good trip, so it was nice to like spend time and we get to the airport, and now we always usually fly out of this one local small airport. What I didn't do though is take into account that everybody else was on winter break, and today they were going home as well. So we get there and the line was insane. And normally, if you know me, if any of my friends or any of the listeners know me, I'm usually at the airport like maybe an hour tops before a flight. Maybe.
That's
If
And
that.
brave.
maybe. But I also have pre-check and all and clear and all that dumb stuff. But my kids, they have pre-check, but you can't when I get a gate pass, I can't use pre-check. It's this weird thing. It's so dumb. It's like I'm a pre-check person. Just let me pre-check with clear. Anyway, so this line was like stupid long. And if you've ever heard me say this, and I think if you've ever listened to some of the episodes about like being new in the industry, and maybe we'll do that this year, actually talking about that's actually a great idea, like our first few years and how we um, kind of settled into the job. And something that I learned after those few years is if you act like you belong or you act like you know where you're going, 99 times out of 100 you're fine. Most people will never say anything to you. So I see this line and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to be that guy today. And so we bypassed the line and went right to the help desk. And we have to always go to the help desk anyway when I get a gate pass to fly, or not to fly with them, but to be inside the airport until they get on their plane. And they're old enough, they really don't need it, but I just enjoy spending those last few minutes with them. So we get there, and the line to the help desk was also super long. So I was like, let me just try the Priority Express line and see what they say. They shot me down. They were like, "You need to stand in the normal line, sir." And I was like, "No, I know it's my fault.
Stay
Like,
in your lane,
yeah.
Dan.
Who are you talking to, girl?" I walked up there and was like, "Hey, it's my fault. Like we've come to this airport a lot. I just didn't expect it to be this busy. Is there any chance we have 30 minutes till they start boarding that we could maybe just use this line?" And she was like, you could tell she like had some empathy and wanted to, but she also had her policy. I wasn't mad at her at all. I was just like, okay, cool. Like so I went back to the normal line. Long story short is we literally made it with like 5, 6 minutes to spare. But the irony of all of it and why I talk about it and kind of in line with what you were just saying about self-care as we're walking in and if and both of you have flown Southwest, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
It's a mess. Southwest, and I'm glad they're actually changing their free for all program because you have to line up in these lines 1 through 30, 30 through 60, right? And it's just a mess. It's this airport's small, so it's all crowded. And as we're making our way to number A40, there's a person in line with a big bouquet of nice flowers, and they're like over her arm, like to the back. And so as the kids are like, excuse me," I just stopped and smelled the flowers, and we were fine. Everything was fine. They made the plane. That was it. Sometimes
So
my point is, you can. I guess my point of all that is a couple things. One, there was never a moment in that stretch of time where we literally had 30 minutes till they started boarding. And I wasn't going to be mad if they like got delayed and maybe had to stay an extra day. Like, why would I get mad about that? But my point is like, and this goes back to the job too of what we do in animal welfare, dealing with people. Like, it's how you respond to adverse situations that truly show your true character. And all of us were, it was a great moment because though there wasn't like an actual life lesson being taught, like, girls, watch this, it was through my actions of, hey, I stayed calm. I asked if we were able to be helped. The lady said no. I didn't come back angry. We waited patiently. We got through the line and everything's good. Now they're almost home. So that's my story.
It's always a good day to have a good day.
Every day is a good day to have a good day. So thank
And
you.
all I can imagine is the woman turning around going, "Did you just sniff me?"
I mean, the flowers were up here. It was a huge bouquet. I was
Oh, good. So you're sniffing her hair.
now you're just gonna make me out to be like that, huh? I wasn't in it like this, like I was just like it was head level for me. Maybe I had to crouch down just a little bit, and I just like, oh, these flowers smell good. Yeah, she probably thought I was weird, but whatever. Sometimes you got to stop and smell the flowers, people.
And she went to security and said, "Please don't let him on the plane."
Well, I'll share a story with you at some other time, but there was another time I tried to get a gate pass and I got denied. But we'll talk about that in a different episode. So, uh, Texas Bishop, what was like? Let's just start with you. Like, what was your favorite thing of 2024, if you have one? Just one.
Ooh.
I know you have many, but
This year was a lot for me on a personal side,
Hmm.
between my pets and my father undergoing open heart surgery and everything like that. But I think a big turning point for me was my Rising Star Award, even though
hmm,
it still makes me feel so icky. Just saying that out loud makes me feel icky. Um, I don't know. It just puts a lot of things in perspective. Like I was telling my husband, I've worked so hard in my life to achieve what I've wanted to, and now I'm here. Where do I go?
hmm,
Um, so, between that and then, getting the gift of the news of us getting a new
hmm,
facility.
yeah,
I'm
Yay.
so excited for the staff, for our community, for our animals. I think it's going to be an interesting adventure, but I think our community really deserves it. And I'm so happy above all for our team because they truly deserve it. They work really hard. Again, I boost all the time. My assistant supervisor, I couldn't do this without her. She's amazing. She's about to hit 20 years when we uh build the facility once it's on the ground. So it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And I'm just humbled by everything this past year with everything. And uh I couldn't do it without my staff. I couldn't. I really couldn't. They're amazing. We've hit a lot of adversity with the building and just situations, and they've pulled through it. And I'm so grateful for them.
it's great. That's awesome, and I love that being able to have gratitude in those moments. It's really important.
Lee.
I can see her
I know.
down there, and I'm like, I don't know. I know where she wants to go, but we're not
I
going to
know
go
where she
there.
wants to go to.
We're not going to go there yet. Y'all got to
No.
come back for like episode 30 this year or something.
Um, I did get to have the opportunity to rejuvenate my volunteering with the ASPCA.
Holla!
Um, so I got to go out and help at their shelter for 8 very long days, very long 10-hour days of work.
Wow.
Um, but I mean, really, 2024 was a rough year. I'm kind of ready for the roaring 20s to be over, if I'm being honest.
Is that what we're calling this? The Roaring Twenties?
You haven't heard that yet?
No.
That's been out since COVID.
Oh, that makes sense. Man, I can't even think about 2030 yet. That's wild.
That is wild.
It is.
That is wild.
But yeah, it was definitely a rough for
Oop,
me. Oh,
oops.
did I hit the button? I
Now
did
you're
hit the button.
fine. You're fine.
Um, yeah, it was a rough year, no pun intended. Um, but teaser again, we will dive into that whole thing eventually.
And I think it's important that we do,
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
think, with us all watching it as it unfolded in front of us, it really says a lot about what everyone thinks about
our
our
profession.
our
Yeah,
profession outside of those who work it. And it's a
Hmm.
shame.
100%.
And it's a shame.
Yeah, the devaluing is it's embarrassing. As someone that has worked in several different agencies, I know that the priority is, you know, I think for us to be treated and accepted for the first responders that we are and the stuff that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And for whatever reason, and maybe that'll change, maybe 2030 will be different or 2025 will be different, but we need to continue to add that self-worth, if you will, to we know how hard our job is, and we know the value that we bring. And I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've continued to have um, in our profession, continuing to grow professionally in my career. It hasn't been an easy ride, and I hope that I can be maybe somewhat of a inspiration to you, uh, Bishop Lee, however we want to call you, because of all these different bishops. And I can't ever get Wisconsin out of my head from Missouri because they're both different places, but I swear they're exactly the same. One's just a little
Mm,
colder.
a little colder, just a little.
But at the end of the day, like I guess my point of saying that is like no matter what happens, if you want to be in this profession, you have to just continue to be, determined, continue to work hard, try to like I've been really intentional about working on myself, whether that's through reading, whether that's through therapy, whether that's just being mindful of like how I treat others. That's huge for me. And I know on the show, we wouldn't be here today if I didn't have maybe what's the word? A personality that likes to be controversial at times. I feel it's important that we have people speak up about things, and we'll do that here in 2025. So this may not be the show that happens in, but it will happen. I promise. Promise.
So what about you and your 2024?
Well, my favorite, yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think the camaraderie and don't judge me. We listen and we don't judge is the camaraderie that we
I'm
built.
judging you.
The camaraderie and the friendship that we built over the year has been really, really nice. Being able to have the three of us, though short in person, in Texas was really cool, and so that's nice to continue to build on this friendship and relationship that we have because you have to have chemistry with these podcasts. Otherwise, it's going to just be a whip around the barn, and nobody wants to listen to that.
Already.
Hey, but you got to know subliminal disses if you know, you know. Anyway, as we keep it moving, uh, my favorite episode though of 2024, personally, it was one of my favorite cases of all times, was the Rottweiler that was unfortunately dragged into the alleyway of her owner and left to die. Thankfully, I guess it's bittersweet. I was able to get there, and she was humanely euthanized at a vet clinic. But you may want to listen to that. It's I forget the number, but it's from 2024, and the show title was called or is called Maggot Dog, and it's a kind of a I guess a true crime style type of show about a case where the dog, yeah, in there you'll hear from the mother of the suspect that was charged and actually went to jail. So it's a pretty interesting episode. Yeah. Any episodes stick out to any of you from 2024?
Bissell, hands down.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
They're great, and it's so great to have a national organization who understands the broad spectrum of the industry and who is just not solely focused on one idea. Um, I just, I am grateful for them, and I hope to continue partnerships um with them in my facility. Um, God, it was great. Kathy's doing great things for the industry, and it's amazing to see.
And she's practical, and that's what's important.
Correct.
We need a lot more practicality, if that's even a word, in our industry. And though it's an emotionally charged industry, and I'm not saying you can't have emotions because I think all of us do, but decision wise, it's important to maintain practical views on whatever task is at hand.
Agreed. Because I think at the end of the day, what I feel where the industry was going is that not everybody fits into the same square hole. Like it's just you can't expect everybody to be the same. And I think it does our industry a huge disservice on both the sheltering and animal control side.
Mm.
I can't run like San Antonio or some of these bigger jurisdictions, Dallas, for here in Texas. There's just no way. I don't have the manpower, nor do I have the space. So I think it's very important as we continue on in 2025 and beyond that we all understand that um, it's not in your best interest to compare yourselves because you do what you do for your community.
Hmm. Absolutely. Wisconsin Bishop, what you got? I feel like you're looking through episodes right now.
I was looking for the exact name of the one. Oh, the Pets for Army Veterans one.
Oh,
And in seeing what, you know, other organizations are doing with some of the animals and getting them into the hands of people that need them the most.
mm.
And being able to kill two birds with one stone, you know. They're helping get the animals into a decent home, but also equally helping the veteran to be able to move on with their lives in a way that is meaningful to them.
Also, not to take away from that, because that's a really amazing episode, but here on the Keep It Humane podcast, we can't use terms like kill two birds with one stone, Ashlee.
Why not, Daniel?
Because it's inhumane. What are you talking
Yes,
about?
it is. If it's one stone and it's a one shot kill, AVMA
Stop.
allows
Stop.
She's got a
Stop.
point.
Stop. It's
It's hu
2025.
it's humane, Dan. We're keeping it humane.
We're a mess. That is a great episode, and I believe that was from my a buddy, a former coworker, Kelly. Kelly, the guest that was on that episode. There's
I
been so
guess
many.
that.
I just want to thank all the. Honestly, we have a great lineup already for the first quarter of this podcast this year, and the amount of folks that have been guests on this podcast. I wish I could name all of you. That would be an episode in itself to just be able to do that because there's been so many amazing guests, and we really.
It'd be funny too, because you wouldn't get any of their names correct.
She's not wrong, people. She's not wrong. Not wrong. But let's
Oh,
jump. Let's jump
Ashley,
in.
that's why he wants us to do the reading of the announcements because he can't get any of the names correct.
Great segue because we were just going to jump into the animal control officer and the agency of the year awards that we um, so highly promised. That's not the word I'm looking for, but we're excited to get that out there. I know there's been some people patiently waiting to find out who won, and so now is your time. And we'll start with agency of the year, Texas Bishop. Also, we'll keep going, but I just drove by like a neighborhood place where it has like how some neighborhoods have like the name of the neighborhood on it, and it's called like Bishop's Corner, and I was like, what? How is that possible?
Clearly, we both need to move there.
It's a great place to live.
There's a Bishop, Texas, not far from me. Well, we are excited to announce that our agency of the year, drum roll please, Saginaw County Animal Care and Control
What?
Resource Center.
Let's go Saginaw.
And I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
If not, it's my fault, by the way.
Yes.
We're just gonna blame it on Dan.
Why not?
I'm just gonna read a little bit of kind of what they got going on. I think, and I'm not going to speak for all of us, but I think they're very forward moving in their agency and what they're trying to do and accomplish. And I think that speaks a lot of their agency and their communities. Um, But what I liked the most about this entry was their key contributions and initiatives. Their pet food pantry, which launched a pet food pantry to address food insecurities for pets in their communities. It has helped pet owners who may be struggling financially, which is great. Sometimes agencies that do take in food usually use it for their own animals in their facilities because sometimes they don't have the resources for that. So, it's always good to put those resources towards something else, which is something that we do as well. Um, let's see here. And it's helping them reduce the likelihood of pet abandonment due to economic hardships. Um, Community resource programs, they understanding the support for animals often begin with the owners. The agency created a comprehensive community resource program. The initiative connects pet owners to essential resources such as straw, dog houses, microchips, flea and tick medication. This was a change in mindset, apparently, after they, shift their focus to really community outreach. And then, of course, implementing the big key for all agencies that they should be doing is return to owner. Uh, we love to see it. Return to owner in the field, y'all. A proactive program, which, essentially getting pets back to their homes and seeing what the issues going on, creating that community base interest and interaction so that they remain positive. And here, it says it best, this effort has improved the community's connection to their pets while preventing overcrowding in the shelter. So I think, and just a couple other, planning pathways, education of animal owners, low cost surgical centers, and things of that nature, just God, what a great agency, just to see everything that we all work for and kind of put our minds together for, to not make us the quote unquote dog catcher,
Mhm.
so, it's great to see that they're moving forward with some innovative and community-centered approach animal welfare, which they have mentioned here, that improves the lives of their community, their people and their pets.
And check them out on Facebook. They have a really cool Facebook page, Saginaw County Animal Care and Control. They have over 24,000 followers, so
Shoo!
they're definitely making an impression in that community. And uh, I think it's important that we support all of us, but we can learn a lot from each other. I think that's one of the coolest things is, maybe somebody comes up with a great idea on their social media page, and then we decide, hey, that would work for us, and we, collaboratively, if that's a word that I can say, we can, work together to get more pets out of the shelter. We got to remember, like, this problem isn't a shelter problem that we're facing with this overpopulation and such. It's a people problem, and we have
Yep.
to engage our community and find ways to really provide them the tools and resources to make this problem less of a problem.
Agreed. And I think a lot of it starts with us in the field, making sure, again, our corny catchphrase, education before citation, a lot of times it's ignorance on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But when you've been educated, it can no longer be that.
Can no longer, yeah. We've supplied you with that resource, that ability, and if you keep making that mistake, you're going to get a ticket. So good stuff. Well, what the coolest thing, and we did it a little bit differently this year, and intentionally, we're going to invite them on the podcast after they find out that they won. They don't know yet. No one knows, and so they're hearing it first. They're hearing it now as they're listening to the podcast, which I thought I wanted to do it a little bit different this year and not give them that heads up before the episode aired. How
I'm
about
excited.
ACO of the year?
Boy, howdy. Does this person,
Yeah.
wow, this person is absolutely loved by a lot of
Everyone?
people
A
in their
lot of
community.
people.
A lot of
A
people in their
lot.
community.
Can I
Um,
just, before you actually jump in, can I just say, uh, thankfully, some of her nominators, whatever they're called, nominations were, so we had a criteria. I wanted it to be like authentic and actually write something. And she had quite a few people actually follow the rules. But my goodness, the people that didn't follow the rules and were just like, this person's amazing, this person's great. We probably had another 20 so entries for that. Just want to throw
mm.
that out there.
Well, excuse me, I'm going to read one of the entries by her son, nonetheless. This is for Jessica Solano. And boy, has she touched a lot of people and a lot of animals' lives.
12
So
nominations, folks. 12.
just of the ones that made it.
Official nomination.
So I'm just going to read his nomination. Hello, my name is Mikey Brown, and I'd like to tell you about my mom, Jessica Solano. My mom started her love for animals when she was a kid younger than me. She participated in the FFA in high school and went to college. My mom went to college for a veterinary technician in animal science. My mom worked as a veterinary technician for a lot of years, and she saved a lot of animals' lives. My mom always had a soft spot for the sick and injured animals. My mom then moved on to the animal shelter. I think she's been there like 10 years, while at the animal shelter, she has brought home a lot of animals. We have fostered everything you can think of. My mom has brought home sick puppies, old dogs, three-legged animals, and even a cat with no eyes. My mom is always working, even when she's not at work, getting paid. My mom watches the lost and found pages, and when an animal needs to be trapped, we will go out and trap the animal. I enjoy trapping the animals with my mom. I find it kind of fun. My mom even has purchased her own items to trap outside of work because her job doesn't let her bring anything home.
Hopefully she's got that from livetrap.com.
And if not, talk to Kyle.
Keep it humane.
I will always help my mom load up the traps. She has this really cool camera that she locks onto the trap, and then the camera will send her phone pictures whenever there's movement. My mom has even trapped animals for a different agency. That animal control agency would not come out and help the public get these dogs that were in danger by the light rail station. My mom, another officer, her friend Kim, and another person from her job by the name of Christina spent multiple hours out at the light rail station to trap a bunch of chihuahuas that were dumped. My mom is a hero. My mom also has done a lot of investigations on bad animal owners. I've watched my mom get ready for court because she has to go on the stand and convince the judge why that person is a bad guy. Sometimes my mom gets really stressed out about the job because it's a lot of work and she pours her heart into it. I really appreciate my mom and everything she does for the animals. There's not too many people like her. I remember my mom crying over a call. She went into the backyard and found a really big dog that couldn't walk. The owner never took the dog to the vet, and now this dog is being eaten by maggots. She tried so hard to save that dog, but a couple days later, the dog died. My mom went to court for that dog and had to face his owner. My mom won that case and sent his owner to prison. I was so proud of my mom because she didn't give up, and I know her feelings were really hurt about what happened to that dog. She still pushed through and got justice. My mom is the voice for the animal who cannot speak. She has raised me, my big sister, and my little brother with a lot of compassion for animals. She has shown us the good and the bad and the ugly of the animal side. My mom loves animals so much that she pays to have our animals cremated when they die. My mom works a lot, and she's had to sacrifice a lot for the job and for her children. I know my mom sacrifices a lot for her kids, just as much as she does the animals. My mom has had to miss out on birthday parties, holidays, sporting events, and even funerals because of work. I used to get really upset when my mom couldn't show up for my football games because she had to work, but I know that the animals in Sacramento County needed her more. My mom deserves to be Animal Control Officer of the Year because she truly is the definition of Animal Control Officer of the Year. My mom has one of the most stressful jobs in the whole entire family. My mom is truly a special person, and she treats all animal owners with respect, and she can understand when things get rough. My mom is the animal control officer that carries dog food and cat food, treats and supplies in her truck, and anytime she sees a homeless person with an animal, she asks if they need anything. What does the animal need? She's always giving out food and treats to homeless people for their animals. My mom has passed on her love for the animals down to me, my brother, and my sister. When you are picking the correct person for Animal Control Officer of the Year, please pick my mom. Thank you for reading Mikey Brown.
Wow. I speechless.
Yeah. And that was one of many.
Yeah.
But you know, the fact you could hear the pride in his voice of how proud he is for, his mom and the work she does, and to understand, if she's missing football games, he's likely under the age of 18. And so for him to understand that she needs to go do her work and to not be mad at her for things like that. So definitely well deserved.
And I also I want to make sure that we thank all the people that submitted nominations for all the amazing people that were um, up for the award, all the amazing agencies that were up for the award. It's never an easy choice, and uh, there's some great stories that we heard and things that were shared that really make it important to recognize all of you for your hard work and continue that. It's fun to pick a winner, but it's always hard to pick a winner.
Hmm.
It's definitely something that we don't I don't want to say we don't want to do, but it's not the easiest thing for us to do. And so a big shout out to all the people who nominated and all the nominated folks. Uh, you're doing a great
Everybody was
job.
deserving.
Yeah, you're doing a great
Yes.
job. So keep it up. Uh, I'm really looking forward to talking to these winners. Not only do they have the award as far as like the ACO or agency of the year, but they're also getting that gift certificate from Live Trap, which is an amazing gift certificate for so Jessica can buy some more traps or some other things, tools that she needs from livetrap.com. And they're also getting that scholarship from the Animal Control and Care Academy to go to a training. So I think that's really awesome that we had the support from some of our outside, I don't want to say outside, but like, our partners in the industry.
Sister agency, sister
Yeah, like
partnerships.
it's really cool to know that they also want to represent you and the hard work that you do. So thank you to Live Trap and thank you for Animal Care and Control Academy for really putting that out there. And I'll be in touch with these winners. They just don't know yet, which is it's kind of different, I guess. I just wanted to I didn't want to bother anybody over the holidays, and we wanted to make sure that it's kind of a surprise to them. So shout out to Saginaw, shout out to Solano. Also, she's doing some great stuff on TikTok. So if you're a TikToker, go to Officer Solano. That's her handle, and it's spelled common spelling Officer Solano, Solano, and all together, all one word. So check it out on TikTok.
Good stuff, y'all.
That's a good way
Good.
to
My
wrap up the first
heart.
episode of
I know.
2025. Really appreciate all of y'all. Really appreciate everything that you're doing. We want to shout out our sponsor again, livetrap.com, Tomahawk Live Trap, doing awesome stuff. Please make sure you're back next week. We have some good shows coming up for some really awesome guests.
Asham.
Awesome guests. Please like,
Words are
share,
hard.
rate the podcast, and very fittingly and very accordingly. What do we like to say at the end of the show?
Keep it humane.
Oh wow! Huh? I wonder where that came from. Help people.
Help animals.
Keep it humane.